All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, MAGA's revenge. I was excited to see it. The House has adjourned with no speaker. I dig it. I do. Look, man, I'm not a Republican. I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks. I don't care for Kevin McCarthy. In 2016, it was reported that apparently there's a recording where he said Trump was being paid by Putin or something like that. Okay. Kevin McCarthy said Donald Trump bears responsibility for January 6th, things like that. This is a guy who is not interested in the actual we the people. It's establishment garbage all the way. Now, look, Marjorie Taylor Greene very much wants him to win. A lot of people have said it's because she's got a quid pro quo. Well, yeah, he's going to put her on committees if he wins. So she's like, I want him to win. We're going to get things done. I don't see anything wrong with that other than I'm not a Republican. I'm not going to support Kevin McCarthy. So when he loses 3 times in a historic failure, I was just laughing the whole time. Look, I get it. Jeffries is going to be worse for a lot of reasons than McCarthy. Here's the fear. There's, I think, 434 people who are voting because there's 1 vacancy. You have to get a majority of votes cast in order to become the speaker. That means the only way the Democrats can win is if Republicans vote Democrat. Maybe it's possible. The fear is if this drags out too long, moderate Democrats and Republicans, establishment, corporate, uniparty, are going to be like, can we find 218 people to just put like Liz Cheney as Speaker of the House? And then they'll do it. There's enough people to do it. I'm not entirely convinced, though, because I don't think someone like Liz Cheney could actually pull it off. But a lot of people are basically saying if Kevin McCarthy wins, you'll get some things you want. If he doesn't win, and then there's some kind of uniparty shill who gets the votes because the Democrats and Republican uniparty will vote for him, then we're worse off. I'm kind of like, what's the difference? What's the difference between Liz Cheney and Kevin McCarthy? Like, don't come at me with that. I don't like the Republicans, okay? There's a handful I like. Thomas Massey's cool. Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert, I think, were awesome today. They stood up and said no. But Liz Cheney, Michael Malice had this tweet. Liz Cheney was the one who was introducing Kevin McCarthy, nominating him to be speaker back in 2021. So it's just like, you think I'm looking at Kevin McCarthy like, oh, he's so much different from Liz Cheney. Yeah, same thing. I don't know if Jim Jordan's going to be the right guy either, but I'm just sitting back laughing that it's been 100 years since a failure of this proportion hit. And you know what I think? The establishment is so accustomed to getting whatever they want that they don't know how to handle something like this. If it is only 20 people who have rejected Kevin McCarthy, so be it. That is a good sign. When the Democrats were nominating Nancy Pelosi and the squad threatened to withhold their votes unless they got universal health care provisions, they caved instantly and voted for Pelosi. And now what's happening is all the Democrats are like, see, we're a unified party and the Republicans are in disarray. Yeah, there was one person who tweeted that the Republicans are so authoritarian that all of them now are fighting because they demand they get their way or else, whereas Democrats are all about democracy, so they're in agreement. And I'm like, oh, okay. Dissenting is authoritarian and marching in lockstep with the corporate Democrats. That's not fast. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you happy to see McCarthy lose, or is it just a big waste of our time?
I like the way Matt Gaetz stood up and spoke about it. I actually have a tweet from ALX on Twitter, and you might be referencing it in this article too from The Hill. But he said basically like what Marjorie Taylor Greene may have done is I want to vote for McCarthy because he's going to put me ahead of a committee. But Gaetz like, I don't want to be part of a puppet committee.
Well, he said you can't drain the swamp if you appoint an alligator into a position of power, which was a pretty big statement.
Gaetz said that?
Yeah.
Bravo.
And personally, government gridlock is a part of my love language. So seeing what's happening right now is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. And it shows you that, the Republicans aren't just the foot soldiers, aren't just obeying every single order, and they're willing to stand up for larger ideas and principles. There was allegedly negotiations between a lot of the dissenting individuals and McCarthy. McCarthy, allegedly, this is what we're hearing from Lauren Boebert and other people, didn't concede to any of these larger demands. MTG, very interestingly, is coming out and saying, hey, these guys are asking things personally for themselves. I'm not even getting anything from all of this. So it's interesting to see all this debate. Personally, I hope there's no speaker. I hope there's no Congress. I hope there's just deadlock. I hope they're just arguing and fighting each other all the time so they leave us alone. That's my personal dream.
Gaetz said they threatened to pull them off committees unless they voted for McCarthy.
Yeah, absolute insanity.
You say that to me, I'll be like, oh, okay, now I definitely won't vote
for you. What do you think, CJ? If you were a Congress member, who would you vote for?
Not anyone. I'm in your boat. I think the silver lining concerning to all of this is that literally until there is a speaker, you cannot swear in a single one of these people. So maybe we don't need a speaker. And maybe that means that the House of Representatives cannot inflict any further damage upon any people who actually value limited government in this country. And it's a shame to see that, like, literally, if you are an everyday American and you fail to do a basic duty of your job, you are fired. These people cannot even elect a speaker of the House. It's absurd.
Yeah, I say
but
Fetterman.
I'm okay with it.
Fetterman for speaker. I mean, why not? Let's make this happen. And also, it doesn't have to be a Congress member. It could be anybody that becomes Speaker
Greta
of the House.
Thunberg at this point.
Greta, yeah.
Can it be a non-American?
Top G, you name it. Let's put him in there. Mix it up, change it up a little bit. I'm sick of these politicians and plutocrats and people who don't give a damn about us. Let's totally change it up. But let's get Ronald McDonald in there. He'll do a better job than all of them. Seriously.
The prediction market's been pretty wild. Kevin McCarthy is currently leading on Predict It, followed by Steve Scalise, then Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan's dropped down. He was at 12 cents earlier. But Kevin McCarthy actually got knocked out of the top spot for Steve Scalise. It's been bouncing up and down. Nobody knows, right? You want to talk about wisdom of the crowd. Most people on Predict It, right now, they're leaning towards it's probably going to be Kevin McCarthy. That's why it's 45 cents per share. He's the lead. But it's been bouncing. Some people think Steve Scalise will be, because he's in a leadership position, he will be the compromise. And I'm just kind of like, yo, the first vote happens in the House, and you need only 5 defectors to block McCarthy, and they vote for like Biggs, and there were a few other votes, like, just random people. Well, I shouldn't say random people, but a person will get like 1 vote. Then you get Matt Gaetz nominating Jim Jordan nominating Kevin McCarthy. Then it goes to a vote again, and this time Jim Jordan gets 19 votes. So the never, McCarthy faction unifies. Then it goes to the third vote. The third vote, Jim Jordan got 20 votes. It actually McCarthy went down.
Yeah. Byron Donalds flipped his vote.
Right, exactly.
For Jordan.
Good. This I'll tell you exactly what I saw. Why is Marjorie Taylor Greene supporting Kevin McCarthy? Because she wants to be on committees. She doesn't have the power to go up against the establishment. The best position she could get is you get Kevin in, she gets on committees, she can actually do something. But I don't think it'll be enough. I think what they'll do is McCarthy will get them in committees where they'll have just enough power, but not really enough to do anything. You get Jim Jordan, maybe you'll get something a little bit better. I'm not even convinced Jim Jordan's going to be the right guy. He doesn't even want the job anyway.
But Kevin McCarthy already moved into the Speaker of the House office.
That walk of shame is going to be depressing.
I mean,
depressing.
If it's going to happen. I mean, it's politics. Anything could happen. They could bring out the FBI and the CIA and the Epstein tapes, and they could be all voting in unison right away. So that could also happen. Or they could bring up the internet history that they have on them, or their private information and data that they have on them. But MTG made also some very interesting comments that I think are worth considering and talking about. She was saying we need to vote for Kevin McCarthy because the Republicans could actually get rid of the 87,000 IRS agents that are supposed to be inducted into the IRS. That's her kind of explanation to it. But again, I personally love the fighting myself.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head so hard over here. It's not going to happen. It's not going to. You put Kevin McCarthy in as speaker, and he's going to be like, well, hold on. We got to play by the rules. I mean, there's a way to do this. Oh, come on. Spare me, dude. The guy who claimed Trump was being paid by Putin, the Republican. Look, Republicans teamed up with Democrats to stop Trump, to stop MAGA, to stop America First. I'm not interested. I just don't care.
I am actually turned on by humility and the fact that this Jim Jordan guy, who I don't know, doesn't want the position and he's willing to nominate someone else, but they still want him for the role. I think he's the right guy.
Contrary to what Kevin McCarthy's been saying, it's my turn. I earned it. If you don't give this to me, you're embarrassing the party and the nation. It's like that type of entitlement is the last thing we need in leadership in Washington today. So it's like, yeah, I'm right there with you. We need humility. We need someone who doesn't want it at all.
Yeah, but Jim doesn't want it because he wants to be a part of committees publicly, and exactly, and wants to investigate allegedly the FBI and the intelligence agencies. Allegedly,
would he be like neutered his ability if he were to become the speaker in doing that?
Yes. And then we also talked to Lauren Boebert just a couple days ago. Specifically, I had a conversation with her, and I asked her, hey, we need a new church commission style hearing. I was like, what's the chances of that happening? If you guys don't know what the church commission hearings are, it's where all the dirt about the intelligence agencies in the 70s was revealed. It was the heart attack gun. It was the infiltration of the corporate media. It was incredibly important hearings that actually had a little bit of accountability when it came to the intelligence agencies. I was like, what's the possibilities? What's the chances? And she was like, not that good. So, I mean, allegedly she's negotiating with Kevin McCarthy, trying to get something done here. Is that a part of the negotiations? I personally hope so. We'll see.
Look, Boebert said they're working on it. That's something they do want. But look at how many you get 20 people to defy the establishment. Good, I'll take it. But I just you get these establishment people in, all of this is gone. Investigation of Joe Biden, I doubt will happen. And if it does, it'll be so weak and pathetic, it will end up being nothing. It will be, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do the investigation. And then they're going to go find some homeless guy and be like, see what you can find. And they're going to give him $10.
Yeah, sometimes it's worse to do a shell of an investigation than no investigation because they'll try and put it to rest with the normies when, in fact, they haven't actually done anything.
Not done a single
Yep.
thing.
That's a 20 right there. Ian rolled a straight 20.
I think that NIST did that with the 9/11 World Trade Center. I mean, that commission had holes all through it, if you want to look at that.
Yep.
That's an
They
example.
will do an investigation and they'll ignore 99% of Joe Biden and his family. They'll focus on little tiny things here, then claim it's debunked and say, look, we did your investigation and it was debunked. Yeah. That's why I'm like, nah, not these guys.
Look at the
Controlled
Benghazi
opposition.
Select Committee.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, look at the Benghazi Select Committee. Like, what actually came of that? Nothing of substance. You didn't see any people go to jail. You didn't see anyone actually be really investigated. Maybe it's time we actually learn from the left, at least the J6 Committee, whether or not you like it or not. And it was absolutely disgusting in the way in which they weaponized the federal government against people who disagree with their beliefs. But maybe that's what we should be doing in terms of looking into how the federal government has actually been weaponized against conservatives throughout this country. We're seeing it also in the Twitter files now.
Someone chatted, if Jeffries wins, there will be no investigation at all. I'm like, yeah, that's actually the point Ian was making. That's better. If there's no investigation, we can eventually get one. If they do a sham investigation, they'll be like, we already did your investigation. We found nothing. You're wasting our time. And then with the normies, they're going to be like, oh, that was debunked, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's almost better to have no investigation than a fake one with someone like Kevin McCarthy, Republicans, who are actually Democrats driving the speed limit. Or wait, Republicans, is that the saying? Am I getting it right?
Wait.
Yeah, Republicans or Democrats driving the speed limit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, that's going to be a no for me, dog. on Kevin
Thanks,
McCarthy.
Randy.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.